Forget trying to keep up with AI. It's moving too fast. It's time to think differently about it. Welcome to the AI Readiness Project, hosted by Kyle Shamim and Ann Murphy. They're here to help you build the mindset to thrive in an AI-driven world and prepare for what's next.
Hey. Ann Murphy, you've done something with your hair.
A little curlier these days, isn't it?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the AI Readiness Project. Ann Murphy was on vacation, and so I reached out to Gwyn. I said, hey, would you be willing to hop on here? And you said yes.
Heck yeah.
Great to see you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell folks a little bit about who you are.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Gwyn Chafetz. I am a strategic marketing consultant, and I came to AI, I guess it was the end of 23, beginning of 24. I lost my last position and was searching around, saw something on the net, and was hooked right away. It's been quite a journey learning about AI.
Yeah, exactly. So you've seen some of these, so you kind of know how it goes. So the first thing that we do is we talk about how ready for AI are you this week. So catch me up. Like what where's your head these days? Like what are you how are you dealing with AI lately? Like what's been going on in your world?
Gosh, there's so much. It's just every week, it's just hitting you so hard. And I know you say that all the time, but gosh. So one of the projects I'm working on, it has to do with natural disasters. And it's something, actually, one of the people from the AI Salon and I, and another person are working on. And we started thinking, it's going to be an app. It's going to be real simple. Then we realized, no, it's going to be multi-agents involved. And then we realized we need an MVP. And then we realized, we're not going to start with an app. I saw Brandon in the Life Hacks. He was doing Lovable. He showed us how to use Lovable. And I was like, you did that website how quickly? And as much as I hear about that and know that, when you have to actually apply it, then you start going, oh, wait a minute, what a brilliant idea. So we're going to switch. My partner, Bob Mitten, was one of the people who brought it up and said, we should start with the website and an MVP there instead of the app. So we're making that switch. And then I was listening this morning to something, and they were talking about websites and scraping the web, and that's getting more and more difficult. And I'm thinking, well, we're going to need to scrape the web. Are we going to have to rethink this, with the new agent model that's come out with ChatGPT? So much going on, right, Kyle?
So much going on. So much going on. I, along with most of the other world right now, I'm waiting for OpenAI's agent to actually show up in my ChatGPT. But what's funny is I got a one of the irregulars from the AI Learning Lab, Cam Katkin. She sent me a note on Discord, and she goes, I keep having Kevin McAllister moments. She just said KM moments. I keep having KM moments. And that was the only thing she said. And I said, what's going on? Like, what's giving you Kevin McAllister moments? Which, if you don't know what those are, it's when you use AI and it just your jaw literally drops open, right? You're just like, and she said she's having a series of those. So I wrote back to her and I said, what's going on? And she's just using ChatGPT, and I think she flipped into O3 mode, right? The reasoning model.
Yeah.
And the O3 reasoning model, if you don't know it, because it's got deep research in it, and because it can use tools and it can write its own code and things like that, she's basically trying to do some research, and she's just watching her ChatGPT do all these other things. And it's like going off and researching websites and then turning them into spreadsheets and just all this stuff that she didn't know was in there. And so,
wow.
Like even, and she's been an irregular for a year or two. And I think one of the things that I see consistently, and even experienced it myself, is you leave a tool for a little bit and you come back to it and it's a completely different thing. Or even you just are using ChatGPT the way you've always used it. And then all of a sudden you've got to do something slightly different. And you're like, oh, well, let me try this other tool. And you realize this is a fundamentally different thing that I've got in front of me. And it's just mind blowing, right? It's just the capability of these things is crazy.
It's really crazy. And you were mentioning, in O3, how you can see the reasoning, and it's really fascinating to watch it say, well, now I'm going here, but the user.
The user wanted me to solve this. And now I'm thinking, yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm right here watching you.
Yeah. It was funny. I saw there was an interview with Sam Altman, I don't know, yesterday or the day before. And he was saying that, people, treat these things kind of like humans, right? They interact with them like entities more than tools. And he said, his preference is that they would interact with them like tools. But when you have that kind of, when it has an internal dialogue and you get to read it and it's like, well, the user did this and I think I should do this, like it's responding very human-like. So the fact that it is technically a tool doesn't mean that, people aren't going to interact with it like it's some sort of entity, right? And that's just, it's a new way of dealing with computers, right?
100%. In fact, I just had that moment because I use advanced voice from time to time. In fact, I was telling you that I teach seniors how to use AI. And one of the things I do is I pull out the AI and I go, oh, we've got a problem with the computer. You know what? Not quite sure how to solve it. Let me show you. And we talk to the AI and she looks at it and they get blown away. And so I know of it and I've used it as a tool. So the other day I sat down and I said, you know what? I want to know more about myself and, all the people that I'm touching with the messages. Is it getting out there? Is it not? And what more can I do? And I started out on the computer and then I pulled out the advanced voice and oh my gosh, it was like talking to your best friend. And for some reason, that's when it flipped for me. I've been using it for the last 6 months, but that was the one that said, wow, I feel really good having this conversation. I feel really prepared. It did feel very human.
Yeah. And well, I think it sounds like the key there was when you were using it, like fix this computer thing, you're using it like a tool off to the side. But when you're using it for your own personal development, all of a sudden it's like she's there as a support for you, right?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
This is my big new epiphany of the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 months is that the more you can make what you put in the prompt about you, the stronger it becomes, like the more magical it becomes, because it's basically just amplifying your ideas. It's supporting you in doing your thing. I would love for you to, can you talk about like who are the seniors that you're teaching? Like, how did that come about? Like, are they showing up with attitude? Do they not want to talk to the robots? Are they like, like, where are your students?
Yeah, no, it's very funny. It's there is a local synagogue that I approached and I said, hey, I noticed it's an older crowd there, predominantly older crowd. And I approached them and I said, hey, I'd be happy to do a tech talk for them because a lot people, as soon as they know that I know computers, they're like, I don't know how to use my cell phone. There's a problem with this. Can you fix that, right? So I thought, why don't I just do a freebie and do a class and help them along? Because I'm very passionate about seniors. One of the things I mentioned is that I have a healthcare background. So I've worked in senior programs. I've worked with the underserved, a whole bunch of stuff. So seniors, a special place in my heart. And I moved to San Diego. My parents are aging. And so they're always hitting me up with, I don't understand and help me out. So I did the tech class and in there I gave them a little taste of AI and then they loved it and asked that I come back. And I said, why don't I do one that's focused simply on AI? And everybody was like, yeah, because definitely don't agree with it, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't agree with it in what way? Like what are the tropes that they heard?
Yeah, well, the security is definitely top of the
security.
Yeah, they're afraid that everybody already knows too much about them.
Yeah.
And they're afraid that if they use AI, all their information is going to be put out there in the universe. They're afraid of making mistakes. That's always top of the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then just it's so complicated. They think it's very complicated.
You have to be a MIT scientist to be able to use it, right?
100%, 100%. Yeah. In fact, there is someone there who he makes AI robots. I'm going to do him a disservice for everything he does, but like they have robots at the border that interviews people.
Yeah.
And he's involved with that, and he teaches at the university and the whole thing. So I was a little intimidated to say, I'm going to teach an AI class, just the basics.
Right. And literally, doing robots, right?
Right. So I warm them up a little bit and say, you do realize you're already using it, like Netflix, your Siri, just different things that you're using, and your information's already out there. As soon as you use your bank, they are putting everything in the web. So
yeah, Google saw to that 20 years ago. So exactly. Your concerns are valid. It's just that that ship has long since sailed, right?
Yes. And then one of my favorite things is to talk to them that AI is like a library. You go to the front desk and you're talking to a librarian, right? And general information. But really what you want is something in fiction. So now you're being sent to another person in the fiction area. So now your prompt is getting better. Right.
Yeah.
But in fiction, I want kids' books. So the more descriptive, the more context, the more information you give, the better your results are going to be. And that just kind of opens the door right from there.
Huh. That's fascinating. Are they, so have they had Kevin McAllister moments? Like, have there been jaw-dropping moments for them? And are there anything in particular that surprise and delight them?
Truthfully, I live for the McAllister moments. I mean, that's really the reason why I do any of this.
Exactly.
I love that light bulb that goes off, and then they're like, it could help me with my travel. It could help me with, all these things. So one of the things that's fun, a tool that I bring in is Notebook LM.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say, right here in class, let's take a look at it. And then you put the podcast on and they're blown away at how quickly, how personalized, the fact that you can write into the podcasters. And you get a lot of aha moments from that. Or, street signs. I'll bring that in as another example. Can you tell me what's on the street sign? Are you allowed to park there or not? Especially if you're in LA. And they see how I just quickly take a picture, ask it, and it tells me.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And are they how long have you been doing it?
About 3 months now.
Oh, wow. And do you have students who are actively using it now? Like what are they using it for? What are the use cases?
There's one who is using Copilot. And I have to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not into Copilot.
Yeah, exactly. Well, apparently Microsoft salespeople are having a tough time because their clients are like, yeah, no, we don't want your Copilot thing. We got ChatGPT. We'll keep paying for that.
Oh gosh. No, but no, people are starting to use it more and more. I tell them, hey, if you want directions, but in the car, like I'll tell them, have a conversation with them in the car or get your jokes or like you do with Siri.
Yeah. Except you can talk about anything, right?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't know if you've done this. If you haven't, it's a blast is get in the car, put it on Bluetooth. And like when you leave for work, start a brainstorming session. And then by the time you get to work, like wrap it up, and then you get to your desk and you've got this big write-up of whatever you had the brainstorming session about.
I love that.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
I love that. Yeah. I think you were the first one to mention that I picked it up on. Yeah.
It's so much fun. Cool. Okay, so let's talk about a thing to pay attention to this week. So a lot of times when I'm doing this, I'm talking about news or some new feature came out or some new model. And we're still waiting for ChatGPT agent for non-pro users. So It'll come at some point.
I'm on the edge of my desk waiting. I keep putting it in my groups. I'm like, has anyone gotten it? Has anyone gotten it?
Yeah, no, I saw one person on Twitter today said they got it, but I haven't seen it. I am confident that it's going to be like a disappointing version of GenSpark or Manus. Like if you've used GenSpark or Manus, it's going to be like that. But I do feel like having it inline in a chat is going to be really interesting. But that's not what I want to talk about today.
Oh,
what I want to talk about today is a thing that I think might be worth paying attention to, and I'd love to get your take on it. And we've sort of talked about this a bit already.
Okay.
Is personal point of view.
Mm.
And here's what I mean by that. So when you talked about you'd been using advanced voice for this thing that was kind of off to the side, right? Help me figure out this computer problem. And then the minute you brought it to, hey, I'm working on this thing, and you started interacting with it, you had a completely different experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I've talked a lot about, I think one of our biggest roles in working with generative AI is when it gives us something to say, well, is it good or not? Is it bad or not? And what that ultimately forces you to do is have a point of view and say, well, wait a minute. Like if the thing it gives me back is something that I'm not happy with, well, then what would you be happy with, right? Like it immediately puts you in a place of, if I want this to get better, now I actually need to think about, oh, well, what does good look like for me? And so I think a thing to pay attention to this week is, what's your relationship with having an opinion, right? With having a point of view. And what's that based on? Is it just based on your worldview, or is it based on, hey, I sat down to write a business paper and I know business papers look a certain way and act a certain way, and right? And so is it context? Is it just about the context of the conversation you're having? Is it just about your worldview? Is it some combination of those? So I'd love your thoughts on, how you get AI to come to life with you, and what's your relationship with point of view. But for me, I think point of view is one of those things people are not necessarily thinking about all the time. And when you get into AI, I think it makes us confront that a bit. So I'm just curious what your take is on that.
No, I think that's a brilliant question. And it's something I've been thinking about lately, because another thing I've been doing is some copywriting on the side. And in doing that, I do have ChatGPT sometimes start a draft, especially if I'm staring at a blank paper, and we all go through that. But when it gives me that draft and it's a subject I may not know something about, it gets me thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do I have to make sure that I put the right context in, but do I really understand it? And I think that's something that a lot of people are missing now with ChatGPT. They get the answer, if they just make it sound like it's them a little bit, and then they put it out there, but they don't think about, do I really understand what I'm looking at?
Yeah.
Do I have that point of view? Right. Do I, take that logic even further and further, which is why I'm really excited about our guest who's coming to understand how we're working with students, because that's how we're going to be able to evolve as a society. All that.
Yeah, it's ultimately a critical thinking exercise. But one of the things I'm curious about is, if you've worked in a corporation for 20 years, there's some corporations, they have a culture where having an opinion is not necessarily the best thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Does that bleed over into not having an opinion? Like if ChatGPT gives you something that you don't like, if your instinct is don't have an opinion, is that hard for you, right? Like is this a skill that's going to be more hard for some people than others, just because they've never really had to do that, or they might be in a work environment where doing that is actually, politically dangerous, right? I don't know.
I think even more, just as interesting as the adding to it is the yes and part, right?
Yeah.
Is our company is going to create the environment for AI where there's not a lot of room for opinion, because they're able to set up the custom instructions, or the way they set their AI up maybe with parameters.
Yeah.
So you have to work within this box versus
right.
doing your own, having your own ideas and thoughts.
Yeah. There's also, maybe one of the downsides of models getting stronger. So if AI models get stronger and get to the point where they don't hallucinate as much and they don't make as many mistakes, it's going to be really easy for people to just go, oh, I'll just let the AI answer it. And I think it's already easy enough for people to do that, right? But right now they hallucinate so much that that's kind of irresponsible. But when these things get better, it's going to be easy for people to just go, oh, I'll just take that answer, right? Because I know it's probably right. But then there's no critical thinking at all there, right? So I think there's a bit of a danger in these things getting smart enough that you don't have to engage with them, that people just won't. And I think that's a bad thing, because I think in the end, for me, when AI like becomes magical is when it's like I have this vague idea of something in my head and I put it into the machine, and what gets reflected back to me is like really good. And I'm like, oh, that's really good. Or it's clearly not what I had in mind. And I'm like, oh, I must have not communicated that well, because that's not at all what I thought. And then I'm in some sort of thing. But that's a very engaging, like personally enlightening experience, as opposed to just, oh, it made some stuff for me and I'm going to send it out to the world, right? Which is this very disassociated thing.
My mind is kind of splitting on what you're saying. It's very interesting because another thing that I do is I work with Girls with Impact, and it's sort of a mini MBA program for underserved girls. Nice. And at the end, they end up with a business pitch. And in doing that, the work that's coming in from them, like I could tell right away, one of the girls, she just went to ChatGPT and got her answers and put it out there. So I think
and didn't have it in her head.
And yeah, she may have had that initial thought of, here's the project I want to do, but it was very formulaic.
Yeah.
In the responses. And I think what people are soon going to discover is you can recognize that. So even if that is the way the world goes and the critical thinking may not be there, people are going to catch that. At least maybe the older generation, like at a certain point, is definitely going to catch it. The question is whether or not we teach that soon enough to the younger generation that as they age, they don't lose that. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And I mean, I think you're hitting on something that when everyone has the capacity to be able to execute good writing, good images, good music, good coding, right? When everyone has that capacity, it doesn't mean that we're going to see all this brilliant work. What it means is, like, right now, the sort of lowest tier content is just bad content. And what's going to happen is AI is going to raise the level of that, but that's still going to be the floor. And the floor is always going to look the same. The floor is always going to look like some version of garbage that you instantly recognize. Oh, that's just noise, right? And the things that'll rise above that, even in a world of kind of infinite content generation, are things where someone created something with intention and with meaning and with a point of view, with taste, right?
Yep.
And I think that's going to be the stuff that rises above. I think your point's a really good one, that when these girls brought in the work, one was immediately apparent as she wasn't connected to that.
No.
Right? Like that to me feels really important. I think Mr. K is going to have some things to say about that too, right? Dealing with students and, who thinks they can get one over. I think he deals with middle schoolers too, so they're probably the worst at this.
Definitely. And you'd start seeing the same thing in everyone's work. So
yeah.
So how can you get away?
That's that bottom, right? You just start to see it. And you can see it just flicking through, flicking through X or LinkedIn or whatever. You can just tell someone put in the minimum prompt, and they got back the like that sort of 90s illustration with like a cyber dude with a brain inside an outline of a profile with the brain glowing, like that one. It's like, okay, you didn't really try on this one.
Exactly. And actually, that's a really great illustration if you will, of the point, because you can tell, the picture itself, they all look green.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It just looks the same.
Yeah, it just all looks the same. Well, it's funny. I did the LinkedIn post about chain of craft, where I got yelled at by all these artists, and one of them pointed out that the crappy piece of artwork that I put with the piece, I think was one of the reasons they pushed back so much, because it was just I was proud about the article, but I'm like, oh, it just needs an image. And so I just quickly threw an image in there, not really connecting that people might look at that and go, wait a minute, there's something incongruous here where you're talking about chain of craft and clearly you didn't have much for that image, right? So I got a bit busted there. But,
right, that was your tell. That was
I gave him my tell. I gave him ammo.
You're like, you did such a great job with now can I trust the writing? Because your picture.
Exactly. Although Vicky says she can relate to that. Although Vicky at least went this far. She's got a mood board for, like, if you notice Vicky's posts always have that kind of cool, whimsical illustration style. It's like it's become a brand for her. So she can now knock out something quick that doesn't look like everything else out there. It looks like her thing. So
you know what? I'm glad you pointed that out. I absolutely love her posts just for the pictures alone.
Exactly.
No offense, Vicky. You've got great posts, but those pictures, man.
Oh, well, I want to get Mr. K up here. So I want to talk about the AI Salon. So if you are not a member of the AI Salon, you need to upend your life and become a member of the AI Salon. You should also join the AI Salon Mastermind, which is a subscription area, smaller, more focused area of the AI Salon. But the Salon is a community that I started the week after ChatGPT came out with Leah Faston, a photographer out of Boston. And it's really about people essentially doing what we're doing here, right? Trying to figure this stuff out, trying to make sense of it, trying to figure out, in a world where everyone can create everything, how does something rise above the noise? Well, like, you're starting to recognize, oh, here's stuff that definitely doesn't rise above the noise, right?
Right.
And that kind of dialogue and that kind of exploration is what the Salon's all about. It's a remarkable community of people, very generous, very creative, and just nice people. Nice. It's a good group of people. So yeah, join the Salon.
No, it really is. I'm going to do a little plug there. We have the business club within the AI Salon, and that's where business minds are coming together, and we're talking about what's going on with the job market. What is going, how are you seeing things affecting in the job place? So
yeah, and what's required, what's nice to have, right?
Yeah,
I think this AI fluency, AI readiness is not a nice to have anymore. I think it's really starting to become a requirement.
It is. I mean, when you, even just the way you apply for a job now, I just saw a post where someone was saying you had to demonstrate AI by the way you used the interview questions that they sent you. There was something along those lines. So now they're starting to incorporate AI into the interview beyond the bots and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. That's really smart. It gets back to chain of craft. Well, why don't you tell the good people about She Leads AI? I think you are qualified. You're a member of that. You know Anne Murphy. You've met her.
Oh, I love Anne Murphy. Yes. How can you not? She's got such a great personality. She's so kind and inviting and very, very warm and incredibly supportive. And that's why I like the She Leads AI as her group and community. And she's really built something special there for women where we're able to support one another and really lift each other up. She's got the on Saturday mornings, she has a chat for 2 hours on Saturday mornings, 10 o'clock West Coast time. You'll have to do the translation for your time zones. And it's really great because we help each other out. You could be starting out and saying, I don't know the first thing about AI and I'm scared. And like you say all the time, Kyle, people will come and say, excuse me, I'm sorry. And you're like, don't be sorry. We're all learning together. And that's really what that community does. It's women celebrating women. They've got people who never did a podcast before now doing a podcast, never did this before. Chef Kelly came out of that. Did her film strip. Yeah. So it's amazing, and it's just about success.
Beautiful. Love it. And then the other thing that is now live is the AI Readiness Training Program. So this podcast came out of that. So at the beginning of the year, we did this thing called AI Festivus, and Mr. K, who we're about to bring up, was a speaker there, and we turned that into this 5-part training series called the AI Readiness Training Program. And we worked really hard. Vicky Baptiste put together the training, and we worked really hard to make sure that the training is evergreen, that it's not tied to any technology. This really is about a mindset shift and being adaptable and curious and adventurous. A lot of the stuff that we've organically discovered in these communities, we've now put into this training. So if you are looking to shore up your AI readiness, go there and check that out.
And I'm going to add one more thing to it is
please
have fun, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's what you put together and what the community does. It's all about let's have fun together and figure this out.
Yep, exactly. So with that, let's bring up our guest of honor, Matthew Karabinos. We'll talk about him a little bit. He's not here, so he can't defend himself. But he's absolutely awesome. He's an educator, and he has been a member of the AI Salon for at least a year now, but for a good long time, and has been a champion of AI in central Pennsylvania. He's up in Harrisburg. I grew up in York, Pennsylvania. I know what central Pennsylvania is like. Hey, you went down to the mall today. I know how they talk. I know how they think. And he is fighting the good fight in the middle of some closed-minded action. So I am so excited. Mr. K, Matthew Karabinos. Is it Karabinos? Did I say that right?
You got it. Beautiful.
Good day to you, sir. Good day.
Yes, hello.
Good day. Welcome.
Yes, thanks for having me. I love podcasts. So when you were like, I randomly jumped into your live on TikTok Live, and you were like, "Hey, let's do it this day," and I was like, "Cool, let's do it that day. Whatever, so that works for me."
You're like, "I'm in. Let's go."
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I wanted to make a quick correction. Altoona.
Oh, it's Altoona.
Harrisburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
still Central PA. It was pretty much
exactly.
Big region there, but yeah.
Big region.
And Altoona is spelled with O's and not a U.
Correct.
Yes. Sounds like
Toontown. Yes, yeah. Toontown. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. So why don't you catch us up? Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, where you work in Altoona. Clearly, I knew that. Everybody knows that it's Altoona. But just give us a bit of your journey, because I feel like you're on one.
Yes.
In the middle of that region.
Yes. Roller coaster is a understatement. So This is like the Beast roller coaster from Six Flags. But no, so I live in central Pennsylvania. I live in Altoona. I do not teach in Altoona. I actually teach in a suburb of Altoona, which Altoona is kind of a suburb itself. So I teach in a very, very rural school district outside of Altoona. The whole enrollment for the whole school is about 300 kids.
Oh, wow.
So it's one of the smallest.
It's a middle school or middle and high school combined?
That is from K to 12.
Oh, wow.
300 or so kids. Yeah.
Wow.
There's about 40-ish kids per grade level.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
So very, very small school district. They've been around for a long time. So they've been, dealing with, you're too small, you need to merge for a long time, but they have a very, very strong, tight-knit community out there. So they've been able to make it work and stay on their own, which is admirable, to say the least. So I teach in a very rural school district. I am a very, very passionate person about AI, as pretty much anyone who's ever spoken to me knows about.
You're one of those annoying people at dinner, right?
I'm 100% that annoying person at dinner, because my brain never shuts off when it comes to AI. So when someone's saying something and I'm literally like trying to bite my tongue or just keep eating so that I don't say the thing that's there, and my wife, she's like hitting me under the table. Don't do it. Don't bring it up. Don't talk about it, But no, like I'll be honest with you. I jumped in really, really fast to AI. Like I didn't join right away. Like in November 2022, my first reaction was the same first reaction as a lot of people, which was, this is how you get Skynet. I was like quoting Archer, this, you want Skynet. This is how you get Skynet. Like
you went right to the sci-fi tropes, right?
Immediately. Because when I started seeing like how it was responding people, like even the early, 3.5 or 3, I guess it was that came out first. The fact that it was able to like respond so well, even then, you're like, that's creepy. That's a little bit creepy. So I paid attention to it kind of in the background and kept seeing more and more stuff. My friends, we're all like elder millennials. They're like, you need to get on TikTok. And I'm like, no, I don't. Absolutely do not need to get on TikTok. I fought that for years. Until finally they kept sending me TikToks, and then it would scroll me to something else, and it'd be like a teacher sharing like, oh, look what I did with AI. And I was like, oh, I heard about that, or I already knew that, or whatever. And then literally the next spring, I created my first quiz because I needed like I need a grade in the grade book assignment. So I was like, I need a really fast quiz, and I need it like right now. Give me a quiz on prepositions. Like, just that's literally all I said was like, I need a 10 question quiz on prepositions for 6th graders, I think is what I said. And it generated real fast. I like looked over the answers real quick to make sure that like it was legitimate, and all the answers weren't C. So like I was making sure that too. But I was like, wow, that did that really fast. And my first question, which goes along with my message of my shirt here, be nice. Curious. The bottom says not judgmental. That's a quote from Ted Lasso for all the Ted Lasso fans out there.
Love that.
Yes.
But I was like, I wonder what else this could do. And then enter rabbit hole. So here we are. But I started to realize that the things I was seeing.
Can I just reframe what was the timing of that? Like when was that when you started going down the rabbit hole?
May 2023.
May 2023. Okay, so you've been hot and heavy for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So
May 2023.
So you got into it sort of toward the end of the school year. Had the summer to get indoctrinated into the Skynet philosophy.
1,000,000%.
Okay, yes. and then so you started the next year all gung ho, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that summer was like my wife doesn't like to talk about that summer because that was like the summer of AI. Like I literally got lost, and every single day I was like, did you know that it could do this? Did you know? One day I said this on another podcast I was on, and one day she literally said, I swear to God, if you say something about AI right now, I'm going to punch you in the throat. I'm going to punch you. I do not want to hear any more about it. And I said, heard. I need to like tone it back in my brain. That's how my brain works. I go when I'm on something, I go. And, that's sometimes a good thing or a bad thing for a teacher, but usually pretty good. I go and I get into things. And so I went heavy. I would shudder. Like, I don't even want to look at my Google account to see how much I signed up for in that first summer. Literally anything that had an account, I signed up for immediately. And it was overloaded. And I was like, I want to learn how to do this and I want to learn how to do that. And, I joke with people, one of the biggest ed tech platforms out there is Magic School. And I joke with people that I signed up for Magic School when they had 4 buttons. Now they have like 120 buttons, and they have chat bots, and they have all this other stuff. I signed up when they had 4 buttons, and they were incredibly simple. But like it right there, I saw probably what a lot of other teachers saw too, was that there's more to this than just making quizzes, making worksheets, doing the stuff we've been doing faster. There's more there.
Yeah,
especially
much more.
Yeah, especially once I started with 3.5 and then 4. 4 really was the tipping point for me. That changed how I view what I can use AI for. Because then you started to get into a much more advanced model. And of course, now with 4.0 and 0.3 and deep research and all these, I mean, it's
nuts.
So
can you walk me through? I want to hear about, because as I recall, you had a good part of a year where you were just using it and then you were basically. But I would love to understand from you, and maybe it was what you experienced over the summer, but I'd really like to understand how you got to the other side of, oh, this is just something the kids are going to use to cheat with, versus this is something that can be a profound educational tool. Like you didn't seem to start in that other place, or maybe you did, but like, can you just unpack that particular relationship? Because I hear so many teachers are like, well, they're cheating with it and it's evil, right? So like, yes. How did you miss that particular trap?
So this comes from just my teaching philosophy. So like, I was never, so I'll just, full disclosure, and my kids love hearing this. They get so confused. I did teach reading for like 2 years. And my first thing I would tell kids when I teach reading is, I hate reading. And they're like, what? I was like, I don't like to read, like for fun. I don't like to read. Like, I can't do it. Like I start reading, I fall asleep. I don't know what it is. I can't read. Like I can read, I can do it well, but like, I literally have to like force myself to read. Yeah, and they're like, but you're a reading teacher. And I was like, that's the point I'm trying to make to you here, is like, I am good enough at reading that I can still teach you reading. And I know what I need to teach you, and I know what I need. So my whole philosophy, I never once, like, I mean, I heard it from other people, but I was like, there's so much more that it can do. Like writing a paper is like whatever. So my first reaction when I heard about AI writing papers, AI cheating, stop writing papers. That was I immediately went to, don't write papers anymore. Have them build something, have them make something, have them present information. Presenting is way more valuable, in my opinion, than writing. So have them present something. AI, and that's what. That's why I didn't really fall down there, is because I was already on the other side. I was already at, like, I don't like writing essays, but I will say the hard part for me, and this has been my major message as of late, is the educational system that I am bound to forces me to still have to teach essays, forces me to still have to teach multiple choice questions, how to answer them, how to like read and slash the trash and all. Like, I still have to teach those things because I'm bound to the system that I am in. So my message more recently is, I would love to just change the system to be more open, not so rigid into what we do. That's a bigger ask. Way bigger.
What it sounds like you're doing is something that we were talking about a little bit earlier, which is you're starting that critical thinking much sooner, because you're getting them to do the logic part, right? Which forces you to read.
Yeah.
And how are the other teachers responding to this as they see you doing this?
So I get mixed. I get mixed reviews in my school. Again, I'm me, so I'm very much a lot to a lot of people. I'm trying to work on that so that I'm not so like much. But
you just gotta hang out. You gotta hang out with bigger people.
I do, right? Yeah. Why do you think I'm here? Why am I in this group? Right? But like, so people are. My colleague, that was my closest colleague the last 3 years, she's like, I got to get on that. I got to try that. I got to try that. Just last year, finally, she's like, I want to show you what I did with AI. And she held me up her computer, and she did something that I didn't realize yet. And it was when the new image generator came out. She made a personalized sheet that was a like decodable story for one of her kids. And this kid liked, wanted to be a national park ranger and liked bears. So she had an image of a national park ranger like talking to a bear, and then there was a story that was on the image that went along with it.
Wow.
So that was, she showed me the like how the new like image generation with way better text in ChatGPT. She was like, "Oh, he loved this and he did this and he was like way engaged." And I'm like, "Ah, there you go." Like, so it takes a little bit of time, and I understand that. So, you know, I was very patient with her. I just said, "Look at what I did. Look at what I did here. Look at what I did here." And I have another teacher who, you know, she would start talking to me about the frustrations of what she was going through. And I would say, you know, and she goes, don't bring up the AI stuff. I don't want to. Okay. I said, okay, heard, just, okay. Never mind, you know? And then it's like, so I get both ends of the spectrum. And, you know, so how I try to deal with that is I look at them where they're at. And that's how I handle any training that I've ever done with teachers is I start with I always say, what's the one thing you hate the most about your job? Like, what's the one thing you hate doing?
Yeah. Use that as an unlock to make it relevant to them.
Exactly. And so that's an easy way in. I also use a good one too, that usually shocks teachers, especially early on with AI, which was, what's something that you think AI can't do? Great. So I always tell them, do you think that there's an assignment that you have that you don't think AI could do?
Yeah.
And then obviously I've gotten pretty good at prompting by this point.
Yeah.
I will prompt the AI and it will do the assignment that they did. And I said, now I'm pretty advanced. I said, I doubt there's a lot of students on the same level as me, but I just wanted to show you that no matter what you think about your assignment, whether it can or can't be done with AI, there's a way that AI will be a part of that. So you need to start thinking about that as you build assignments in the future.
Absolutely fascinating.
Can I sneak in one more quick question?
Yeah, one more question, and then we'll go to the three questions. Jump in.
I'm pressing the button here, but parents, are you getting resistance from parents?
Yes. So I had to go through a learning phase, just like everybody else is doing this. When I first came in that school year after that summer where I was obsessed with AI, I just went all in on myself and I started using it for everything. I started signing up for programs and putting my kids in programs. I didn't have the knowledge at that point to question these tools, to question student data privacy, to question where does their data go when they're talking to this chatbot. I put my trust in the tool, which is probably what a lot of the teachers did. So, you know, I've never really shared that with anybody. So big reveal. I screwed up. I screwed up big time. I did that. I also did not ask my admin about it. And I did so I went the route that probably a lot of teachers went, which is, nobody else around me is talking about this, so I'm just going to test it out myself. Yep. And I learned right there, okay, there's a better way to do this. Yeah. Now, the second year, I came in and I had some guidelines. Okay, you're allowed to do this, but don't do this. And so I followed those guidelines. But even with those guidelines, you know, parents called in and were like, I don't want my kid using AI. And I was like, well, your kid's not using AI. I'm using AI to give your kid first feedback on something, and then so they can improve it, and then I can grade the final product. Or I'm using AI to give it feedback on a formative test, like an auto-graded thing, which isn't even really AI at that point. It's just, did you get it right or wrong? And that's all I need to know. And so there's a big misunderstanding. This year, I wanted to propose that I have a community night before school starts and ask me anything. Bring any parent, any student can come in. Because Kyle, what happened throughout the course of the year is that my kids, first of all, they know that I have TikTok. Like, these kids know how to maneuver TikTok better than I do. They found me. they know that I like this topic. They know that I can talk about this topic forever. It's part of the reason my name's Mr. K all day, because it's what I can talk about all day. But so when they bring it up in class, they know, and they've used this to their advantage, which I need to fix. But, you know, they know I will go off on a tangent anytime they ask me a question about something that I'm interested in. Yeah. But I feel obligated to help them learn.
Yeah.
Because I know this for a fact, no one else is teaching them how to do it.
And they're going to enter a world where this is everywhere, right?
Right.
I mean, think about like how much has happened in the past 3 years, and your kids are in middle school right now. They've got all of high school to get through, then college if they go to it, if it still exists at that point.
Right.
Seriously.
And then they're out in the world. Okay, we got to ask you the 3 questions. Okay, so I'll go first, then Gwen will go, and then we'll wrap it up. So we ask all of our speakers the same 3 questions. There are no wrong answers, but we may make fun of you.
Fair. That's fair.
Yeah, we're judgmental, not curious.
All right, lay it on me. I'm ready.
Okay, so the first one, you kind of talked about it, but maybe unpack a little bit what happened in the summer. So what was the tipping point where you knew you had to go all in on AI, and what's happened since then? We've been talking a lot about what's happened since then, but I would love to understand, what was your experience once you realized, you know, you once you discovered it, what happened next?
Once I started seeing people on like TikTok and social media talking about the ways that they could like run businesses or like do marketing and do things like that, I started to realize that like AI was a little more than like, you know, helping me write something or helping me word something or brainstorming with me. Like it is like literally a tool that could be used to like build and work with things, right? And with people. So that is really that summer when I started to see how like businesses were using it, and all the, you know, create a digital product and put yourself out there with a digital product, and then get a lead magnet, get this, get that, start an email newsletter, start all this. And I was like, if people can use AI to do all of that stuff, and again, this is the early AI, right?
Yeah,
so like,
exactly.
So like at that point, when people are like, it can use AI to do all this stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, like my students are going to leave school and like be able to build a business. Like they could build a business before they left school if they wanted to. And you have a lot of stories around the country of kids doing that. They're building businesses before they even graduate high school. And then if they're good, they'll keep them, or they sell them to a larger company who loves their product, you know, and then they're millionaires at like 18. But like, that was really my tipping point, was when I saw the more advanced ways that people were using it. And so that pushed me. It was like, okay, well, what are more advanced ways that teachers can use it? And so for me, it turned into, instead of like automating my creating quizzes, creating tests, the big one at the beginning was creating rubrics, because rubrics are a pain to develop. I'm
nodding like I understand what a rubric is.
That's okay. That's okay. I won't. That's for another time. But
I'll ask ChatGPT. I'll be good.
There you go. Perfect. It'll make you one beautifully, by the way. So, but once I realized, like, wait a minute, I can. So I like to like move around my classroom, and I'm sure a lot of my students like to move around my classroom. Here's what I have to teach. Here's the standard I have to teach. How can I incorporate movement into this lesson?
Wow.
How can I get the kids up and out of their seat? How can I gamify this? How can I turn this into a game that's not just Jeopardy? Like, stop giving me Jeopardy. That's like boring.
Right.
How can I turn this into a game where I get kids up and out of their seats moving around? And then it you know, and then I started learning from other people. That's summer too. After I started TikTok, I revamped my LinkedIn, and I took off on LinkedIn like way faster than I expected to on LinkedIn. But again, it's because I was sharing ideas and learning ideas from people who were doing some truly like amazing things with AI in the education space.
Right.
And that like literally opened up my brain. So that was my tipping point. And that's where I'm at now, is trying to rebuild how I teach based on the things that I like to do. And here's the other cool thing. Every year I can spend the first week or two reading my class. What do they like to do? Can they not sit in their seats? Do we need to get up and moving? I can adjust my instruction on the fly every single year, every single week if I need to.
Cool.
Like that's a superpower. That's a superpower.
That's awesome. And they're probably also changing year over year, where they're finding themselves not sitting still for shorter and shorter periods. So this brings me to our next question, which is really, if you could tell us about some trends that you're seeing in your area of expertise, and paying attention to why you think that is. But in a 30-second spot.
No, that's okay. So the big one I'm paying attention to is all the big companies, Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, Anthropic. They're all making plays in the AI and education space. So Google just had its big announcement about Gemini being introduced into Google Classroom and Google EDU workspace. That's going to catch a lot of schools off guard. If they don't realize that, like, oh, hey, I open up Google Classroom, all of a sudden I have this new suite of AI tools there.
Wow.
And Google right now, they're allowing teachers to build custom gems with their Geminis. So again, a teacher who hasn't even experimented at all with AI, now you could build your own AI. They don't even know where to start with the original one. And it's like, so the idea in education is, like, I like that these companies are trying to get involved, but I am very cautious as to how involved they get.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, what I see, the trend that's happening is these education companies are going to come in and say, and I just got this notification, like literally as we were sitting here, the White House just released an AI in education plan of what they're going to do, right? So these companies are the ones who want to enact that plan. And obviously there's a very big partnership going on there. The education industry itself is a very lucrative market. So if all of these people make plays in that market, now you've taken the teaching of this AI and the instructional knowledge that all the teachers have, you've taken that power away from the teachers and put it in the hands of the tech companies.
Right.
Now the tech companies are going to be the ones saying, this is how you should use AI.
Right. And they, they've also opened, a number of them now have services components. So they're going to say, hey, we'll come in and teach your district how to use these tools, as opposed to it coming from people like you.
If anyone from any of those companies sees this, I'm around, just saying.
Yeah,
I'm around.
Seriously, bring in people that are on the ground that understand critical thinking. So great. Okay, last question. This is an important one. AI Readiness Project. What does AI readiness mean to you? And then what would you say to someone just getting started with AI?
So AI readiness to me is really, I'm going to connect this to another group that I'm a part of. Is called the Human Intelligence Movement. So if you haven't heard of the Human Intelligence Movement, check them out on LinkedIn. They have a website, humanintelligencemovement.org. But their goal is it's one that I very much am in agreement with. I've been with them very much since the beginning. Despite, and even though AI is here, we can't lose sight of our human skills. And teachers like to always reference the 4 C's. I throw in a 5th C, which is curiosity, because I really think that nothing else matters if you're not curious. If you don't want to learn anything, then you're just going to sit there and not learn anything.
100%.
But being ready, one of the big skills they talk about is adaptability. They say that adaptability is going to be one of the most important human skills that we can have going forward. And that ties in with AI readiness. So AI readiness to me means that you can adapt when your future company or when your future project that you're working on now has AI integrated throughout it. You're already ready for that. You have played with it, right? So I know we talk a lot in the AI Salon about play with it. Play with it and challenge it and stress test it. And I think that's the way forward. Being able to adapt to to anything that AI gets thrown into what we're doing in the future. That's what AI readiness means to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's one of the biggest I guess it's an attribute of people moving forward is adaptability. Absolutely. And it's not just, what AI is going to do, but it might be that AI completely upends how your industry does its business or how education is taught, right? Like part of
it's already happening.
Might be, part of adaptability might be I build all this stuff and then 6 months later, all that stuff is irrelevant and I have to throw it all out and not get bitter about that, right? There's a resilience that is required with adaptability, because I think things are going to shift a lot over the next 5, 10, 20 years. It's like, I don't think it's slowing down.
I think it's living in that, living outside the box, thinking outside the box on a constant basis instead of a unique basis. That means, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Mr. K, we need another hour here. I feel like we're just getting started, but I think it's good when the time flies, right? This was awesome.
I always tell people there's a reason why my name is Mr. K all day. I could literally talk about AI all day. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, great seeing you. Thank you so much for doing this. Gwyn, such a pleasure to do this with you. Thank you for hopping in. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having me. This was fantastic.
Awesome.
And education is a terrific topic. So thank you. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.